Go ahead and get started. I have a bunch of folks from various states on the line. And great to have everybody join us. My name is Adam Hops. I'm with the National Operations Center of Excellence. We're here to help host this call to support FHWA and Chuck Yorks at Gannett Fleming in this effort to organize all of you. A few ground rules. Your phone will be muted for most of the call as Chuck is presenting. We will have a roll call session. We'd love to hear from you during that time as Chuck calls out your state name. If you've called in, please be sure to just hit *pound on to unmute your phone, and you'll be able to chime in. If for some reason there's an issue or you weren't able to connect your mic, feel free to chime in that question and discussion pod that's there on the right. We'll be able to use that to capture everything. We are recording this as we speak, so we will be able to capture this and send it out to everybody. Chuck's going to talk about upcoming webinar dates, but you will hear from NOCO, or please sign up for our newsletter or check our YouTube channel to see that recording, so that it'll be available for you to share with all your colleagues. Should be available by the end of the week. Thank you again to FHWA and Chuck Yorks, and I'll go ahead and turn it over to Jim Ostrich to give an introduction before Chuck presents. Jim?
Thanks, Adam, and welcome to everybody. It's been, 9 months since last November's week, National Traffic Incident Response Week, and today we're going to talk a little bit about what to expect for this year as far as an event, but more importantly, your all's participation in activities and in a variety of different messaging and outreach and education to our states, your state's motoring public. And first, let me start by sharing that so far this year, since January, the issue, which is big on our radar for all of us this year so far, 26 responders have been struck and killed since January. That includes 10 towers, which is always a high number, but oddly enough, and there actually may be 2 more that I have to add, but I have to verify on the towing side, but there's been 12 in the law enforcement community have been struck and killed, whether they're in their vehicles or out of their vehicle, 2 firefighters, EMS, and actually 2 mobile mechanics that were associated with an event on an interstate and were struck and killed, again associated with the crash. So as we've said in the past, the number of injuries are unknown, really. We know that it could be 10 to 20 times greater or more than the fatalities, and so a big problem that we have to continue to message on and include as part of our efforts in preparation. So as Adam said, one of the things that we were strong on last year, and hopefully will be even stronger this year, not only with the number of states, hopefully we're going to have all 50 states this year, DC and Puerto Rico participate, but the messaging and collaboration through your public affairs, I'm sorry to repeat myself there, but I can't stress enough how important it is, and many of you are already have great relationships with those offices at your state DOT or your police, fire department, whatever the case may be, towing association, but that is something that we need to do all the time, but very strongly, certainly, as we prepare. So when we go through the roll call here shortly, if you don't have anything prepared right now to report out for your state, that's all right. This is the first of 4 to 5 calls that we're going to convene, and I'm sure you'll be able to, participate and share what you're doing. Everything is being documented, and what we need mostly is for the public to really understand what our responder community is doing on their behalf and on the behalf of congestion mitigation and just the overall quality of life benefits that good traffic incident management practices bring to the table. Let's see, just as a real quick FYI, we're approaching well over 420,000 responders trained. I will say that there's been a pause in the Sharp 2 TIM training statistics. If anybody's been wondering why they haven't seen any of the reports here in the past 30 days, there's been a pause due to contractual issues, but nothing negative, just a pause that we've had to bear with, if you will. But soon that'll be coming out again, and we'll be back on track. So with that, I want to introduce Chuck Yortz with Gannett Fleming. Gannett Fleming is supporting FHWA with this work. And so Chuck, did I miss anything?
No, sir.
Okay, take it away.
Thanks. Thanks, everybody. It's good to be back together with those of you who I've been together with before, and nice to meet the folks that I haven't. Again, our role here is to help collect as much information as we can and be the facilitator of a process that improves the things that each of us are able to do to promote awareness. Again, I thank you very much for your presence and your interest in your work. And again, here's the leftover thank you slide, which I'm admitting on the slide itself. Again, anything we can do to improve awareness within our responder communities and with the motoring public is very important. And again, we're all about performance measurement, but it is difficult to measure how many lives we save with reminders and how many lives we save with appropriate traveler information that's prompt and reliable. But we do thank. We should be thanking each other all the time for one other little thing that we do in this community is the openness and sharing that occurs. I think we're different from some of the other transportation disciplines in that it doesn't seem that anyone really worries about who's getting credit for what. And in that spirit, we encourage everyone to share whatever it is that you're doing. We're going to share a new idea from Pennsylvania here in a couple of slides. We're going to talk about safety and it being a team effort. The phrase came, traffic emergency actions matter, TEAM. And if we're working together, may sound a little bit like a broken record. We're repackaging the ideas, but the fact is that we are all in this together. It is everybody's responsibility, and the actions of every responder, every support person who's involved, including all those drivers, is important. So again, we're going to be sharing in these monthly calls when we're asking you to share and listen and learn from all communications channels that we're using, all disciplines, and again, promote the public role in traffic incident management safety. We will have calls, I believe, on the third Tuesday of August, September, and October, and Adam's already asked you to try your best to keep aware and go to NOCO. Expect the National Operations Center of Excellence to be a go-to place for information, and I thank Adam and the folks at NOCO for their help. I left this slide in this presentation from the end of last year just for a reason, and I maybe it's because I really like the look on the guy's face. This is serious business, and he's got a serious look. This is an example of the social media work that so many of you are doing a great job at, not just during the Awareness Week, but all along. And we hope that we can continue to personalize. The slide is here because it's the face of traffic incident management, at least one part of it, in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Multiple themes. I want to keep reminding that whatever works, if move over, slow down seems to be working where you are, I know Jim Ostrich wants you to share that information. We spoke a little bit earlier, Jim and I, and the fact is that obviously the vast majority of motorists are paying attention, being safe, or in a position where they're not threatening our responders. But even one person who doesn't pay attention, whether that's a responder stepping out onto a line or a motorist allowing themselves to drift over a line, it's not all of it, but we need to figure out a way to share whatever it is that seems to be working. We are talking about responder to public messages and public to responder. That's probably one of my main interests in past years and in this year is how can we get the public to explain to responders what it is they're seeing? I want to look for all the teachable moments that you have. One of the places that we've done on the TIM network page, we do have some resources and maximize whatever opportunity. One of those ideas, and it sounds small, and because we're at a statewide level, we don't talk about it a lot, but you reach your communities where the communities already are. Churches, bars, service club meetings, PTO meetings, but talking the talk every chance you get. That will involve our whole community. So we're interested in doing that and seeing what we can do to continue to support that. Multiple disciplines. Raise your right hand, please. Repeat after me. I can see them all going up now. There you go. I state your name. Will do all I can to involve a discipline that has been uninvolved or under-involved in past TIM promotional activities. So help me, Paul Joden. I think in many of our programs, we're just so strong with the partners that we have that we tend to quit beating our heads against the wall. And I think it's important that we continue to promote every discipline being involved. I often, working with TIM teams around the country, say, well, what's the key to an after-action review? Well, the key is to having the people who were on the scene part of that review. And that means everyone. So I'd like to restate that commitment that we're trying to grow and make sure we promote multiple discipline involvement. Again, TIM Network has resources at timnetwork.org. You'll see on the right when you hit the responder or the response week tab, there's a variety of resources there, including a flyer that asks you, and perhaps you can use to send out to the folks within your state, your partners within your state, within your programs, to ask them to share with you what's going on. And a reminder that we're not trying to replace other things. These examples happen to be from National Safety Council and Emergency Responder Safety Institute, but continue to leverage the resources that we have. Last year, we had a tremendous amount of success. In particular, Texas just got a gang of stuff and resources from Emergency Responder Safety Institute, and we thank Cumberland Valley and the folks there. I'm going to give you a real quick presentation on an idea that, and as we developed it in southwestern Pennsylvania, it's an attempt, came out of the mind of Adam Marshall, who's an assistant district traffic engineer with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. And he started with the idea that the touch a truck events that so many of you do on a regular basis, and so many fire companies do, we tried to develop that, and in a spirited discussion with about 40 folks at one of our TIM team meetings, we came up with the following. We're calling it Touch 'em All. You baseball fans may like that. Touch 'em all means you touch all your bases, and we're going to try to do that to the best of our ability. We are working toward an event in each county if we can that includes all the disciplines, that demonstrates the teamwork, engages all ages, stresses responsibilities, leverages schools, and is media friendly. And what we've come up with is, assuming many of you have already done the same thing, we will set up according to discipline on how someone, when they drive through a traffic incident management area, how they will be walking through it. So they'll come upon advance warning, perhaps from the DOT, and then encounter the law enforcement vehicle. Siren or lights on. Blocking vehicle. The incident scene itself. EMS towing, and if we have others, would do that same thing. One side of the walkthrough will be geared to the youngers, and give them more of a chance to touch the truck and just kind of get used to seeing what it is. The other side would be geared toward developing drivers. We gear that to teenagers and adults, developing drivers, about to be drivers, developing drivers, and their parents perhaps, so that we talk a little bit more about personal responsibility. That side of the demonstration and that talk will be on driver responsibility and shared responsibility with responders as they go through. We're probably going to try our best to host at a PennDOT facility, which will improve our connectivity between responders and DOT wherever it might not be strong. Try to do something daytime and nighttime so that we can engage perhaps some field trip activity. We will engage high school juniors who may be choosing a senior project for the following year. We're going to do our best to target high school health education teachers. In Pennsylvania in particular, there are fewer and fewer driver education programs in schools, almost down to none. And we came up, as we brainstormed, we came up with the idea that those students are still all taking health education, that they're looking for programming. And we're hopeful that we may be able to help develop even a single-day lesson plan that would become part of a health education curriculum. We're going to stage it so that it's media-friendly and also so that we can be doing video. And then someone came up with the idea that seems to work with a lot of kids, and that is that passport concept of getting things signed and getting the little gift at the end. We're going to try to create a serious atmosphere, but a fun atmosphere at the same time. As we all know, when we can take the angst and anguish out of a situation and turn it into more of a game, things seem to work quite well. What I'd ask is, as we begin this state roll call, and we'll be pretty much in alphabetical order, if someone's there and ready to speak, if you have nothing yet planned, I would ask if you have any idea or had any thoughts on those last couple of slides, how in Western Pennsylvania we can make our event better. We'd appreciate that. So, again, you'd be able to unmute your phones. I'm going to begin with someplace that has not been sought yet. Is there anyone on the call from Puerto Rico? Anyone on the call from the District of Columbia? Anyone from Alabama? Alaska? Arizona? Arkansas? California? Colorado? Anyone on from Connecticut? Delaware? Anyone from
Hey,
Florida?
Chuck, it looks
Yes,
like a
Adam.
few folks might have had some issues unmuting. So I'm going to unmute folks and let them speak. We might have skipped over a few people.
Okay. Let's go back to the top.
Yeah, go back to the top.
Let's go back to the top. Puerto Rico? District of Columbia? Alabama? Alaska? Arizona?
Chuck, give me one more second. Make sure everybody's unmuted.
Okay.
Now, can you hear me?
Go.
Oh.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, I know that voice.
Okay. Okay. Should I be quiet then? No. No, we here in Arizona, we are gearing up. I know they had a meeting yesterday, and Jeff will probably speak to that. But as far as the Touring Association, I know that we are gearing up for our National Move Over Day, although it is a couple of weeks before 10 week. We and other states are really starting to gear up and gaining a lot of ground here with our what we have going on. And every state does something a little bit different from California to Maine to Maryland, Oregon, just different states. So we are starting to roll everything out. A lot of awareness. So that's all I have right now.
Thanks, Angela. Good to hear your voice.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thanks, Angela.
Anyone from Arkansas? California? Colorado? Connecticut?
Connecticut's here. Can you hear me? Paul Krasavage here.
You bet, Paul.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Go ahead, Paul.
Nothing. Okay. Yeah, it's difficult. I'm glad you backed up and started over again. I was speaking into the phone. Obviously, it wasn't connected at the time. But we haven't begun any official planning for Awareness Week. We had recently completed Move Over Week, basically Move Over. Well, we had a good press conference. I think I sent a snippet of that down to Jim and Paul for that. So, but we're waiting on a couple of other. Well, we're waiting on some settlement and new commands and things to see what we can do here. So, but we're listening in for ideas. So, thank you very much.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Anyone from Delaware? Florida?
Hello, it's Rulex from District 6 down in Miami. We're still in the planning stages, but we'll be sure to continue to participate and interact for the future webinars.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else from Florida?
Yeah, how you doing? This is Mike Washburn with Florida's Turnpike. Just along with our other district mentioned is, prepping for some statewide impact press release in coordination with our Florida Highway Patrol. I'll probably also be doing items with our Service Plaza rest area customers and really trying to get, as you guys mentioned, the word out social media-wise as well. So just early planning.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.
Excellent.
So many states really do maximize and go where the people are, and using the Service Plaza is a perfect example, and Florida's done some great things. Anyone on from Georgia? Hawaii? Idaho?
Yeah, this is Neil Murphy from Idaho. How you guys doing?
Good, Murph. What's up?
Great, Neil. How you doing?
Doing good. Just to let you know, the Move Over law came into effect 1 July, so we had a large media campaign. It was actually picked up by every news outlet in the state. There was a couple of YouTube videos and some other things, so we started that. The rest of the things, we're just thinking of ideas for this campaign that will be coming up, but nothing formal right now.
Thanks, Neil.
Very good. Thank you.
Illinois.
Hi, this is Robin from Illinois Department of Transportation. How are you?
Great, Robin.
Great. The one and only Robin.
Hi. We do not have anything formal at this time, but I am planning on trying to get something together. We are just trying to finish up a major revision to our training program, and I'm a party of one. So I will start working and looking forward to hearing ideas from all the other states.
Thanks, Robin.
Thank you.
Robin gives and shares so much of the stuff that they've had success with in Illinois. I think we owe it to her to give her some great ideas.
Yeah, thank
Indiana?
you.
Indiana?
This is Karen Stipik from the FHWA Indiana Division Office. The Indiana Towing and Wrecker Association is planning their second annual Move Over Indiana Day on October 19th. I know that's a couple weeks earlier than the National Incident Responder Week, but anyway, they're doing a Move Over Day at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. It's going to include a Touch the Truck event too, and they are really just kickstarting their planning and the Indiana Traffic Incident Management effort with NDOT and State Police. That group that I'm involved with, we're helping to promote it, but the ITWA, the Towing and Wrecker Association, is really leading it. And again, it's October 19th.
Excellent. Thanks.
Oh, and we also
Karen?
are seeking a governor's proclamation. And apparently we had a governor's proclamation last year to go with the event. So
That's great, Karen. I'm glad you mentioned the proclamation. Those are becoming more common as well during the week. So thanks for all your efforts.
sure.
Anyone here from Iowa? Kansas. Kentucky. Louisiana.
Hello, this is Rick Artis from DOTD Motor Assistance Patrol. We're reviewing and we're reviewing and freshening up our PSAs from last year, and we're planning on regional mock demonstrations for the incident. So we're building off of last year, and just to push out information, we're also expanding our Safety Service Patrol. Will soon be covering all of I-12 and I-10 to the state of Louisiana. So we're just kicking it all back off again.
Thanks, Rick. Just so you know, your
Very
range
good.
just
Thank
hit
you.
Pennsylvania. Louisiana range just hit Pennsylvania in a big way. Anyone from Maine?
Hey, this is Tom Reinauer from Southern Maine Planning and Development Commission. How's everybody doing?
Good, Thomas.
Great.
We've got a move over event usually in October. I don't know the exact date, but we set up on a couple of the service plazas and do handouts, and it's attended by or led by mostly the State Association of Towing and Recovery, and then the state police and local fire also volunteer to kind of hand out things at those plazas. So that's happening this year again. In terms of the Awareness Week, we're doing the social media thing again. The message boards, we have kind of a dichotomy there with Maine DOT is pretty liberal with what they put on the signs, but the Turnpike Authority is not. So we haven't had much luck with our Turnpike Authority and getting the messages on the boards, but we're still working on that. Hopefully that will happen this year. And then I think we're going to try a little bit more of a media push, both as an organization and for that week. We've been a little lax in that, so we're going to step up that, hopefully get some news coverage in terms of TV this year if we can.
That's
Good,
excellent.
Tom.
Excellent.
Tom got wind that I might attend his meeting and decided to cancel July. I really appreciate that, sir. Anyone from Maryland?
Got a lobster prepared for you.
Thanks. Anyone from Maryland?
Yeah, it's Pat Rooney from Maryland DOT. Well, last year we did lead for the event. We've been alternating it every other year, so this year it's supposed to be the Transportation Authority is going to be taking lead. We'll be working close with them to give them a hand and try to coordinate with them to set up several things. One, we've been real successful with a couple of the media events that we've done the week of the National TIM awareness. So I'm sure we'll be doing something like that again. Usually pick a big venue where we can bring in the media from the Baltimore, Washington metro area. Be doing a bunch of TIM classes that week as well, multidisciplinary at different venues, fire department, law enforcement agencies, and the towing associations. And we are anticipating that week is also the National Towman Convention in downtown Baltimore, to which we've been holding TIM classes the last 2 years, the last 3 years actually, with them. So we're looking forward to doing that again and doing a big kickoff for their week with the convention coming into town at the end of the week. We usually hook up with them and do either a memorial ride with them or try to coordinate to coincide with the memorial ride that they would normally open up their convention with.
Good job, Pat. Real quick, Pat mentioned, which is always an obvious but a great way to increase, the training numbers, not only leading up to the event, but during that week. It's a great idea to really get all the instructors in your state to maybe conduct a class. Would be phenomenal. Thanks, Pat.
Massachusetts. Michigan.
Hello, this is Dawn Miller with Michigan DOT, and we are planning to repeat a press conference as we have in the past few years. What we'd like to do different this year is we'd like to move it from our location where AAA headquarters has been kind to host it the past couple years in the southeastern Detroit area of Michigan, and we're talking about moving it to the west side of the state, Grand Rapids area, to increase our outreach and our exposure and bring in some different parties this time. They have a attenuator that's mounted on a former dump truck utilized by the Public Works, and they worked with multi-agencies to build this attenuator that goes out to scenes and serves as a blocking vehicle, and we're thinking that can be an item that can be at the press conference. Also, we'd like to hold a TIM training in at least one training in each of 7 regions located statewide throughout Michigan. We will also have press releases statewide and communicating this message on Facebook and Twitter and also on our dynamic message board statewide. That's what we have planned so far.
Outstanding, Dawn. Thank you for that update. Michigan, always a leader. Something that I want to share that I think most of you have heard me say before, and why the messaging for Move Over is so important. We've grappled with the fact that all 50 states, CC, and Puerto Rico now have a Move Over law, and it's been in quite a few years in this fact, but the fact does remain that still, according to NHTSA, 71% of the motoring public is aware of what their Move Over law is in their state. So this is a big opportunity for everyone to remember that and get engaged with, again, your public affairs, your DOT, all your stakeholders to message about the importance of move over law. Thank you.
Absolutely. And what I got out of Dawn was a reminder that moving it from the traditional location always makes sense. It stresses that other people are as important and other areas are as important. And the folks around Grand Rapids are pretty active, or at least they were the last time I was there at a meeting. So that, I mean, it's a great opportunity. And again, modeling the attenuator on the old dump truck, that's another way. Michigan is also very adept at trying to piggyback and share those ideas through their municipalities, since they've got so many of the miles in so many of the states. That's a great idea. Anyone on from Minnesota? Mississippi. Missouri. Montana.
Hello, this is Marcy Allen with the FHWA Montana Division Office. And we don't have anything formal started yet, but we'll get moving on that shortly. But I did want to just mention that last year MDT used social media to get messages out during National Incident Management Week. And just last week, one of our steering committee members who has a slow down, move over window decals on his command vehicle was approached by one of our local TV stations for an interview. So he and one of our other committee members were interviewed, and that went out to the public, so we were pretty excited about that. So that's about all I have to report now, but hopefully next time I'll have more.
Thanks, Marcy. That was great. It's amazing how the Lord works. At least for me, you mentioned stickers. I've been running stickers, move over law stickers, all my vehicles, personal POVs, for a number of years, and I think that's just a great way if states have the ability to fund stickers. I know I ended up getting a number of them from the Towing Recovery Association of America, and the DC Fire Department posted them all on their fire trucks, etc. So thanks for everything you're doing in Montana, Marcy.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Keep up the great work. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Nebraska.
Hi, this is TJ Kreipel with NDOT. Right now we have had no official planning for this event yet. Over the past years, we've done messaging through social media, emphasized training. We've actually held training that week. Recently, or over the last few years, we've done some media training throughout the state, different areas, and we've just recently been more engaged with our communication division here at NDOT with some of the TIM program. So I kind of want to keep that ball moving, try to do a little bit more this year. We have a new highway safety administrator. He's willing to maybe, he needs to learn more about TIM program, but we're going to try to work with him and maybe some of the ideas they've had on the public side. And hopefully we're going to have a little bit better event this year.
I'm sure you are, TJ. Thanks for the update.
Oh, no problem. Thanks.
Nevada. Anyone in New Hampshire not named Tom Reinauer?
Go ahead, Tom.
Yep. Tom runs a program that crosses state lines, New Hampshire and southern Maine. Nothing else? New Jersey.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Bob Pomacala from NJIT, and I work with NJDOT. So what we have going is a large-scale training exercise we plan on doing in the southern part of the state Camden County to be specific, which is in close proximity to Philadelphia. It's going to be on September 25th. We plan on having local and state assets, setting up a training exercise with a mock, kind of like the touch to truck thing, but that's a really great idea. We might incorporate that. We are going to have it professionally filmed and produced, and we plan to let it out during TIM Week with a press conference. We're also working on our TIM for Media awareness. I know I mentioned that last year. We've been running it through mud, seems like, for the past couple of months, but we seem to be making some headway. So we're going to roll that out. We're going to invite the press and the media and try to get TIM awareness in southern New Jersey and all of New Jersey and parts of Pennsylvania. Hopefully we can get it out there through media outlets, social media, and we plan on doing a press conference with hopefully the state police and the commissioner of the DOT about TIM during TIM Week. So that's what we got going on right now. A little busy.
Excellent. Thank you.
New Mexico. New York. North Carolina. I think Wayne's on.
Hey, this is Wayne Taylor from North Carolina, and we don't have a formal plan in place as of yet, but we did complete an after-action review last week and had most of our TIM partners there and solicited feedback from them. So we're going to follow up on any information or feedback that they give us and pull something together. So we should have something to share at the next meeting.
Excellent. Thank you.
North Dakota. Ohio. Oklahoma. Oregon. Pennsylvania.
Hey, Chuck, it's Todd Lees. How you doing?
Good, man.
What I brought up to Chuck last evening and brought up to Dan Wetzel from PennDOT is what I'd like to try to do in Pennsylvania is right now, we know that we have 109 law enforcement officers filled all the time and struck by incidents, 21 firefighters, 15 towers, 3 EMS workers, then 70 PennDOT workers and 40 Turnpike workers. So I'd like to try to get one each responder and film have them hold signs representing the fallen responders and do a slow down, move over event and make sure the number of responders we've had killed in Pennsylvania due to struck by incidents because people have not slowed down and moved over. So that's what we're going to try to work to do that, try to get that done by October so that we can have a finished product to push out the week of the responder week.
Good deal, Todd. Thank you.
Anything going on DVRPC? Paul was on call.
Hey, Chuck, this is Chris King, too, from DVRPC. Chuck?
Anything? Yes. Anything planned yet?
We're probably doing a social media campaign like we've done in the past, but we had thought the idea of trying to do some type of, scene demonstration, something in one of our TIM counties, that needs we're trying to drum up some more participation at our task force meetings. So I'm interested to hear more offline about your Western Pennsylvania event and see maybe how we can incorporate some of those ideas into what we're thinking for one of our counties as well, and maybe several counties if it's something set up that we can put together easily. So thanks.
Good job. Anybody else from Pennsylvania?
Chuck, this is Dan Wetzel with PennDOT. Hey, just agreeing with Todd there on what we were planning. He ran it by me there, and I think that's a pretty good idea of what we want to do. And then also, like the DVRPC was saying, PennDOT will be doing a social media campaign as well as the variable message signs again throughout the state, pushing the Slow Down, Move Over campaign.
Thanks, Dan. Rhode Island. South Carolina. South Dakota. Any of our friends from Tennessee on the line?
Hello, Chuck. It's Gary Ogletree with Adam Moxavice. He's my new supervisor. We kind of got a little bit of a jump on the TIM awareness. 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had our 20th HELP anniversary of 20 years since we rolled out our incident management program. We've had a statewide event here in Nashville, and each region had events in Chattanooga, Knoxville, Memphis, and here. And I said that went well. We're working with our community relations bunch as far as getting some social media attention for the TIMS Week and DMS. I wanted to mention to everybody that hadn't heard about the loss of one of our champions last month. Frank Horn passed away after a almost year-long illness, and he will be sorely missed.
He will indeed, Gary.
But he will also be remembered. 20th year anniversary of the HELP program and the other things that he helped champion. So.
That's right.
Texas. Thanks, Tree.
Hi, I'll chime in. Hey, Anthony, go ahead.
Fort Worth, Texas, Texas Department of Transportation. Just wanted to let everybody know that in August we have a 9-county area here, and we have 4 TIM teams, and we're fixing to celebrate our 5th and 6th TIM team within the district. We're going to have some training in August that is specifically related to cable barricade fence extrication, and we've been talking about this training for about a year now, coming up on a year. And with some partnering with some towing groups and a large area of land that's been volunteered for us to use, we're going to have that training for 4 days, August 20th, 21st, and 22nd, and 23rd. And then those numbers that we come up with are going to be part of our November week of TIM, Talking TIM.
Excellent. Keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you going to be doing videotape of that training on the cable median extrication? Because it seems to be something that is in demand, and we don't have a lot of video of that. But
yeah, I actually will have. I do safety videos for our district and for some people in the Austin district of our state. And I have the equipment available, and I'm going to go ahead and set up probably a 4 to 5 camera video system and actually edit that down and try to have it ready by November as well.
That would be outstanding and moving forward.
Then I'll make that a priority on my list.
Was that Anthony?
It is Anthony, yes, sir.
Yeah, hi Anthony. This is Jim Ostrich, Federal Highway. Is Irving in your district as well?
Well, Irving is right on the edge of our district. They actually have part of a roadway that is managed by Dallas, but is in the Fort Worth district. It's a funny little anomaly there, but yes, we work with them quite a bit.
Okay, because I know about the blocking the use of the fire department there. older, decommissioned apparatus that they've been using for blocking
Oh
response?
yeah, that's a great program they have going there. It actually worked about a month ago, month and a half, that they had the apparatus in place, and it was struck right midsection of the apparatus. It actually bent the frame of the piece of equipment, and they had to junk that piece, but it worked spotlessly.
Wow. Well, I was curious, and I forget the name of the captain who was actually involved in the big incident, much bigger incident with the ladder truck a number of years ago. The tractor trailer, I think, that struck. Anyway, videos, if you can get if there's any videos that maybe you can work with them on, along the same lines that, with your other work, it would be great. Just a thought.
Fantastic. Well, that seems to be the kind of the way that this program nationally is going. If we're going to share our successes, we're going to have some visualization. So I think the idea that our New Jersey guys were talking about a while ago with video and having a professional video crew come in and do their training, I think we're going to start looking towards that ourselves.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you all.
Dave McDonald.
Hey, I'm Bob Murphy's in for Dave McDonald. He's in training
today.
Bob.
Hi,
guys. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We got a couple things on the radar, repeating what Texas did last year with the DMS messaging. Also, we had some handout flyers made that we're going to resupply for first responders and heroes to hand out on move over law. We're also looking at maybe doing an exercise with commercial vehicle demo mock incident in Fort Worth or San Antonio. We're still working on some of the details of that. And then the PIO office working with social media. They put messages out last year, and we look to repeat that. And also, ITS Texas is occurring the same week, and they have some program content that includes TIM and first responders, so we're going to explore potentially a simultaneous event, maybe with responder recognition at ITS Texas. We just got word of that last week.
Excellent. Thanks, Bob.
I got one thing for Chuck. That's a great idea, that demo program with the schools. And one thing that, is near and dear to my heart is, especially with distracted drivers, maybe there's something you can do to kind of simulate that in a fun way, maybe with blindfolds, with people, being on the phone and what they may encounter or cause by not paying attention to their driving.
Here we go. Thanks, Bob Murphy. No, that's a great idea. I love that distraction idea.
It is, yeah.
Okay, Utah. Vermont. Virginia. Washington. West Virginia. Wisconsin.
Good afternoon, everyone. Dave Spackowitz from the Time Program in Wisconsin. Last year we had a real good incident response year. We had media events in all 5 regions of the state, and we were excited after that about the potential to expand it significantly this year. So since that time, we've just been throwing around some ideas for this year's events, anywhere from displaying damaged squad cars at these media events that were struck by, or other response vehicles that were struck at incidents, to reaching out to the driver's education instructors groups. We have 2 separate groups in the state, and solicit their response, and putting move over, slow down crash videos on the DOT website, a different one every day, and promote the dangers that occur out there. We've been in contact with our OPA, Office of Public Affairs. We have a meeting already scheduled to initiate plannings for this year's events. We've been in contact with the Wisconsin Towing Association. They are excited to participate in not only the Incident Response Week, but but also the move over slow down day planned for October. So we got a lot of good things in the hopper, but we just got to start putting them together. And that's it.
Good job, David. Thank you.
And Wyoming. Anyone else that we did miss, or anyone who wants to speak up at this point? If not, a reminder that we're going to go August 20th. We are collecting ideas. Anything you've got. Appreciate all the help that everybody has given us in getting the poster. We should have the poster approved through FHWA in the near future. We'll be getting that out, the official poster. I'd like to give, if Paul Joden's still on the line, I know there's a Talking Tim webinar coming up July 24th. So if Paul has any words to say.
Yeah, you read my mind, Chuck. Paul, are you there?
Yeah, I always have something to say.
I was going to add, before you get started, Paul, though, real quick, I was going to ask you to chime in on possibly the Tim business case, because I think there's opportunities to highlight, for the states to highlight any kind of successes they're having with performance measures or data collection and that kind of thing. Just a thought, Paul, but go ahead.
Geez, you guys are throwing, last minute things here. You guys are trying to bury me here. I know. So, and I wanted to share about my wife who got a failed to move over ticket on our way down to vacation last weekend down to Cape Cod. So I guess I didn't explain to her what the move over law is, and she had never heard about it, believe it or not. So that's my way of confession to you guys, and to buy myself some time. So on the Talking Tim webinar, thanks, Chuck, for remembering that. It's next Wednesday, right? Yeah, 1:30 to 3. We're going to feature Todd Less on his program. He's doing some cool things in Pennsylvania. David McDonald from Texas. We'll talk about the Texas program, so we look forward to that. I asked him, this is by invite, of course, if anyone has gotten good information. And then Jim Roth from Ohio DOT is going to talk about their TRIP program, the towing incentive program. So should be a good one. We always have a few announcements to give you, but we're not gonna make you listen to Jim or I for 20 minutes on this one, but we'll probably have a few tidbits of information to share for you. We do have a business case document that we have put together. It's just finalizing it, but let's commit by the next call to share some more information on that could potentially be used during this week, because I'm sort of caught off guard by that one. So
no,
and I don't want to ramble on helplessly there. So we'll commit to we're providing some succinct information and probably the document.
Absolutely. Thanks, Paul. And along those same lines, just to throw some more thoughts, ideas out for everyone to consider, we definitely, take advantage again of the social media and all the other messaging, move over law, the demos, the different activities, ride-alongs, whatever the case may be that we've been doing now for a couple, 2-3 years. But I think it's a great opportunity for states to wave the flag of success with their training. There's you could advertise or share with the public what it is, that where you are with your training in your state, how many responders have been trained, and what the impacts are to lives, saving time and money. And so think out of the box. It's like Chuck is saying, we want all ideas, and get ready for the next call on Tuesday, August 20th. Same time, same place, Eastern time. So anyway, Chuck, what else?
Stay safe, stay connected, and share everything good, and suck up all the information you can like a sponge. All right? Most of all, be safe, be well.
Yeah, great call, everyone. Thanks for participating. Thank you. Thanks to Adam and the National Operations Center of Excellence as well. Thank you all.